Hello, my beautiful internet people of the world. It's me, your favorite internet dumb Wisteria, Ivy. And I'm here to show you what it takes to get me from a seemingly attractive potato person to a beautiful drag queen. So, first step that I like to do is obviously I have to shave off my facial hair. I always said that if I were to become a famous drag queen, then I would also shave my eyebrows. But we are not doing that today because I have to actually be able to function in normal everyday society. Plus, I have the desire to actually have sex again, so there's that whole thing. So, let me shave off this scruff and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I have shaved. I'm just spraying a little bit of stuff on my face in order to calm down my skin. Then I usually like to use a couple serums and then like a nice moisturizer. Not anything too heavy, and I try to keep the serum on the lower part of my face where I shave because it's a toning serum. It supposedly has like a really low pH, so it helps your pores close back down, everything like that. And then whatever is left, I just kind of put on my face. Okay. Then I usually like to use some type of like hyaluronic acid serum, just something that's a little light, that's going to add just a little moisture, and then I start to block my brows. Okay, best way to start this process for blocking your brows is you can either take a towel with some rubbing alcohol on it, like I've done, or you can buy those individual alcohol wipes that you see at any drugstore, really like Family Dollar. You can get them anywhere you want, and just make sure that there's no excess oil. Sometimes I'll even go like back and forth against the brow. You don't want to irritate it too much though, because the last thing you want to do is create a wound on your face and then put makeup on top of it. That's not good for anybody. Then you obviously put on glue and then you powder it down. My trick to glue is when you think you have enough layers, add one more, then powder. Okay, so I have on the first layer of glue, and now you want to just go through with a spoolie brush and smooth down the hairs. And I like to do them in like an up and out sort of situation, just because I feel like when you just do them straight down, you start to get like a lump, which is not something you want. Like the whole point of doing this is you're trying to create a more feminine shape, if that makes sense. So once you have that smoothed down, you can move on to the next brow, and again, kind of up and out. Then what you want to do when you have your hairs up and out, what you then want to do is you want to take your glue stick. This is going to look disgusting. I'm sorry ahead of time, especially in a pandemic world, but it's non-toxic. It's fine. And then you just go up. You go in the direction that you put the hairs, if that makes sense. If you watch any video, we all do this. It's funny, I put my best friend in drag, and she watched me do this one time, and she was like, "Did you just lick the glue? You didn't use that glue on me, did you?" I was like, "No." Okay, so we're going to let this dry and put on another layer. I wanted to say really quick while this is drying, I see a lot of queens go in with powder and powder it down and then add more glue and then powder it down, add more glue. I don't like that personally. I've tried that. I feel like it adds more texture. not get rid of it like it's supposed to. So I don't personally do that. I let each layer dry and then I go on to the next one. And sometimes, I just let it casually dry, like if I'm taking my time, or sometimes I'm just extra. I mean, I don't know why people think I'm extra, but it's beyond me. Okay, so my brows had started to feel smooth, so I put one more layer, and while that's drying, I'm going to kind of go in and color correct. So the whole point of color correction is just to make sure that everything looks even, and just together. Now, of course, when you're using, when normal drag queens that use, full coverage, full coverage, full coverage, full coverage, full coverage, a lot of times the only thing you have to color correct is darkness. So you can see, looking at my face, there's not a lot of blue cast. I mean, there's a little bit on my mustache, so there's going to be some put there. A little bit happens on the underneath of my chin, if you can see that there. And then I'm going to put some just, literally just underneath my eyes. Okay, so once you've got that on and blended out and you look like a little bit of a crazy person, I like to take a little bit of a foundation powder that's on a brush, and I like to just gently put it on. You can see it's not going to be enough, obviously, to cover up the orange, but once you put your foundation on, if you do this part properly, it's fine. You're basically just putting enough powder to set it. So when you put the foundation on top of it, you're not going to see it. Itchy. It's already starting. I always go into a little bit of a panic mode. Oh my god, I realized that I got a new Airspun and I hadn't even opened it yet, so look, let me see if I can show you this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so satisfying. It's like porn. But not as transmissive. Okay, so you can see now I'm just going in with a setting powder too, just because that foundation wasn't doing exactly what I wanted it to, so I had to go in with a setting powder. So now I'm going to take my Coty Airspun. I go through so much of this stuff. I mean, I use it for my boy makeup. I use it for so many things that thank God it's not expensive. Okay, so you want to take your puff and really grind the powder into the puff. I don't know if you can see that. No, you can't see it at all on the camera, but you're about to. And press it in, okay? Don't drag. Don't drag. Just press, lift, press, lift. And the more powder you have, the better. Okay, so once you're starting to look like a complete and utter psychopath, there's a couple things you can do from this point. You can go in with that same orange color corrector. This one's actually more of a burnt orange. It's almost too dark for me. But you can see it blends out very well, so it works. I should have gone the truly salmon colored one. But it works for the most part. So there's a couple things you can do. You can go in, slightly color correct, and then powder it, and then you're going to put white on top. Sometimes though, with your brows, if you've covered them properly, you don't need a lot of pigment control, but I'm still going to put a little bit just because my brows are pretty dark. Okay, so then you want to blend out the orange. The best way that I do that is actually with a fluffy synthetic apparently is what I was trying to say, synthetic eyeshadow brush. Okay, so what you want to do is you literally just go across and tap it. Like, do not drag it at all. I feel like for like how I do my drag makeup tutorial, this has a lot of do not drag. Just don't do it. Save yourself. The inhumanity. The craziness. But no, you can see I'm not dragging at all. I'm literally just tapping in circular motions and moving it across all the concealer to make sure it's blended. Then we'll powder this and move on to the next step. And back, we're blended, we're powdered. Okay, so now we foundation. And how I do this, okay, this foundation used to be a match for me. I think it's just on this camera and with my lighting that it looks super white. I'm becoming one of those, like, what, art pop people? Save me from myself. Okay, so once you've got it dotted all around your face and on your neck, okay, I take the excess onto my foundation brush and I tap it around to blend it in. It blends the foundation into its skin or it gets the hose. Okay, I know. The weird faces are completely necessary, by the way. And see, it's blending into my neck. It is actually, I am actually this white, people. Okay? I think I like this foundation because it, like, actually matches me for, like, boy makeup, too. I mean, besides the fact that it makes me look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. But I think it also just, makes people realize that I am as white as I say I am. I'm Casper the Friendly Ghost. I don't actually know the words to this. It's probably a good thing I'd be demonetized. Okay, now that you have that blended out and you look like, you know, a neo-Nazi's wet dream. Well, no way, I'd have to be blonde and blue-eyed, wouldn't I? So maybe not a wet dream, but, you know, he'd have a wedding. So now you want to go in with your concealer. And looking at this stuff now, it's shade Vanilla, but it may not be light enough to do what I want it to do. Why is that almost... Oh no, it's like... Never mind, it's light enough. Okay, good to know, good to know. Song, sing song. Contour powder, same kind of thing, still a nice fluffy brush. Gently swirl it into the lightest contour shade. That's what mine looks like up close. It's very gentle and cool toned. And I just kind of like, but what's funny is even though it's cool toned, it's strange. Let's call this a neutral tone because it does have the tiniest bit of warmth to it. Most contour does. Because it's a brown. It's like we were just talking about this at work the other day. Like, of course a brown has a little bit of warmth to it. It's a brown. That's like literally the whole point. So I'm just kind of going through, and I'm like barely touching my face, people. Like just kind of going through and marrying everything together. Don't worry so much about, like, I mean, obviously worry about it being too harsh. That's why we're doing it on a fluffy brush. Like, it's literally just to kind of blend everything together. So once you start looking like that, we've darkened up the beige rainbow the tiniest bit. Now you're going to put this brush to the side, and you're going to go in with a smaller fluffy brush. Okay, you're going to go into the next powder, and again, very lightly. And this is going to stay more towards the outer edge. Okay, and this is literally just like one darker. Jaw gets a little bit more depth than everything else does, just because to create that shape, it needs a little bit more depth. And this is literally just going in, swirling, going in, swirling. You see how it's getting darker as we go away? That's perfect. Then you want to take the same brush, the two next darkest shades, and you want to put it just at the very edges of everything and just gently underneath the edge. Not on your jawline, or else it will look like a beard. Okay, so I did it around the outer perimeter, and then I came back so I could show you how I do the under part. I swirl them together so gently, like there's barely any product on this brush. I even tap off the excess. Then what you want to do is you want to start from like the top of your ear and just kind of gently bring it to the corner of your mouth, just like that. You see that? I don't know if you can even see the difference between this side and this side. Let me see. Again, top of your ear to the corner of your mouth. Ooh. Ah, so riveting, so wonderful. And then what I do is literally just tap right underneath the chin. Because see how it creates that, like, oh, that's actually her chin shape. And then just whatever excess, bring it like that. I know I told you none on the neck, and you're not really. It's just helping to create that shape. Okay, so now the highlights, the contours are all in place. We're going to work on these brows some more and go from there. This is coming together. Okay, so first I go in with a black brow pencil. Not anything crazy, because what I'm literally just trying to do is define the line, if that makes sense. So I'm being very gentle with this, okay? Because I don't want my brows this dark, and if you go crazy with it, you go crazy with it. This is literally just like to create the bottom. See, to create like a guideline of where you want everything to go. Then you're going to go back in with the original shade and a brown to create individual strokes. I may even bring out a slightly warmer brown like I sometimes do, just to create individual hairs. Okay, so now that I've got the general shape how I want it, I'm going to go in with a small angled brush and just a nice like brown shadow. I'm going to go through and gently add the hairs. There we go. Do the same thing on the other side and we will be finished with the brows. Okay, sorry for the delay. I had gotten stuck trying to get into this freaking palette. It's a Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette. It was on clearance and I wanted to check it out. So I'm going to take the lightest shade in the palette and just kind of like use that to make sure that the brow area and everything is completely set. Ooh, look at her. No. It's very dusty. Warning ahead of time. Okay, so they have two transition shades. One goes towards the warmer, the other goes to the cooler. So I'm going to keep mine a little cool. Okay, so I just kind of start building up my shapes as I see fit. It really depends on like what I'm going to be doing that day, if that makes sense, as to what my eye shape is going to do. I find that a lot of times I just kind of go with it, you know, wherever it goes, it goes. I just kind of follow suit. Like that eye shape. I'm going to go into the slightly warmer shade and just kind of like, oh, that's pretty though. That's not a bad warm. It's not a bad warm at all. Okay, am I just crazy, or does nobody else remember like Wet n Wild shadows like working this well? Like they blend together fairly easy. I mean, the fallout is freaking insane, but most palettes have a fallout. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye, and then we'll just figure out where we're going to go from there together. Okay, so this next part may be a mistake, but we're going to do it anyway. We're going to tap between these two brown shades up here, just on onto the brush, onto smother brush apparently. And then what I'm going to do is I try to keep it angled upwards, and then just kind of like, oh, son of a... And then I'm just kind of going back and forth until it creates the look that I am trying to achieve, which is more of like a natural kind of like, I guess, smoky eye, for lack of a better term. We don't know. We'll figure this out together, and we'll let you know how it works. Okay, so then you want to basically do the same thing on the underside, just like a mix of the browns with the smudger brush, and then you want to take a little circular brush, no product on it, just kind of going through and softening that line. Okay, going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, then I'm going to go in with the light shimmer shade in the palette and just, you know, kind of set that with that slightly shimmer shade. You're not going to necessarily see it. It's just going to be enough to set the powder. I mean, or set the cream. It's a drugstore shimmer shade. Like, don't expect miracles from other people. I mean, it's doing better than even I thought, but it's not like translating onto camera. And then, once you get that done, you're going to kind of go in with your brush again, same little circular brush that you were blending out the line with, and just kind of like go in and like clean up the underneath, if that makes sense. You know, just making sure that everything marries together. And then you want to take whatever you have available and just kind of like tap the edges of it. My makeup's never 100% symmetrical, but I also think it's because my face is not super symmetrical, but I get it close. So now we're going to apply black. We're done with this eyeshadow for now. And then we'll do glitter and move on. Sorry, I decided to do glitter first and then do the eyeliner, and I'm just trying to think of which glitter I could possibly want. This one right here is kind of calling my name a little bit. Maybe a little too pinky for this look. But we're about to find out. It's calling my name. It has to go on my lid. So this, another flat angled brush. You're just going to pick up a little bit, and I just start from the edge. And it depends on how intensive I want this too. You know, if I sit there and I'm like, this isn't heavy enough, or this is too heavy, you know. We figure that out as we go along. And if you are somebody who hates glitter, this is not for you. I'm sorry. I wish it was. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm just like applying glitter very gently and then really focusing on blending it out, because I want it to be a shimmer. I want it to catch people's eye. I just don't want it to be so much that it's going to overpower the rest of the look, if that makes sense. So once, like when I get a large chunk on there like I just did, I go through and I just kind of like blend it out. And I forgot how like nice this glitter is. Like it doesn't like obviously if you really pack it on there it's going to be intensive. but because it's so micro fine, it just kind of like goes on, blends out, can forgive a multitude of sins. I have this theory, well, it's not really my theory, but it's a theory, and I'm the one here right now, so that's what matters. Glitter can forgive all of your sins. Glitter is the true deity in the world. So I'm going to put on my black liner, and then we're going to finish the face, and we'll be right back. Okay, so once that part is finished, I like to take a little bit of a fluffy brush and kind of just dust that over the eyeliner so it drags it out just the littlest tiny bit. Okay, so the eyes are pretty much finished. Now for the rest of the face. So this part is kind of quick, honestly. You can do a couple different things. Oops. Oh well. I take a face brush, my favorite blush to get it nice and I smile, but I also keep it back here, you know, just at the tops. And I smile so I can see what it's gonna do. It's the only time I smile. Well, that and when someone gets me diamonds. But since no one ever gets me that, and I just take whatever excess is on and I just gently dust it over my cheeks. But I keep most of my blush back there. Little tiny bit at the very tippy top of my nose. And just gently brush some directly over my brows. Brings color back to the face. Then I got another blush that's a little tiny bit lighter and has a little bit more of a shimmer to it. That I just kind of, again, keep this towards, this actually will go more on like the tops, if that makes sense. And also just kind of like bring color back to the face. This is very gentle, very, you know, just bring everything together. A little tiny bit on the chin. Nothing crazy. Like, I didn't even add extra. It's just whatever's on the brush goes on the chin. Okay, so that's blushing the face. I don't know if you can even tell on camera if it made any difference. But then I'm going to take a fluffier brush, no product on it. I'm going to go in with my favorite highlighting powder. With the world we're in right now, I don't even know if I can show this on camera without people being like, you still use that? It's like, yeah, I paid money for it. Of course I still use it. This just kind of gets gently circled in that area, okay? Over the tops of everything. You know, you just want to look like you're gently glazed. And again, where you put this blush, a little bit there, a little bit there, just kind of dust it. And you want to be very gentle with it. If you feel like you need more, like more concentrated, take your pinky finger and like, see how much more concentrated that is? And I put it right there. And then if I went in a little too ham, I just go with the brush and kind of. Okay. So, blushed, highlighted, contoured. I do have another little trick to intensify my contour. I'm not showing you all that because that's my little trick and you don't need to know it. But now at this point, I just have to put on my beauty marks and do my lips, and then we'll be finished. Okay, so I'm going to try to scooch in a little bit closer so I can show you all this part. I'm just going to shape my lips. This is Almond Rose number 132. It's a Maybelline lip liner. And what I like to do is I like to flatten my bottom lip because I can see where everything will go. Okay? You son of a... That's the one thing I hate about retractables is that, like, if I'm very heavy-handed without even intending to be, and I kind of just break it constantly. So then, once you got that in, just kind of like color in everything else. If you drew it a little lopsided, don't worry about it. We're going to clean it up later. There we go. I'm going to clean it up a little bit more than that. Just that was bothering me right in that second. Okay. Hence why I thought I would clean it up afterwards. Okay, top lips for me are a little bit tricky because my top lips are very lopsided. It's strange. So I've tried to do like the flatten them out, realizing I can't do this and talk at the same time. But you know, if I mess up my lips, I'll just say it was for you all. You know, for the art of it, I try to keep them as flat as possible. Think of it like you're drawing a picture. Okay, not that I ain't good at drawing a picture, but pretend with me for a minute. Okay. I look like I'm sad because the side's still a little blurry from when I had messed up. So what you want to do with that is you want to take a concealer that's roughly the same size as same color as your skin. Same size as your skin. Okay, that's a lot of freaking concealer. I swear to you, like, I'm struggling to open this right now. I think this is why a lot of times when I'm doing makeup, there are some times that I just literally have to walk away. Okay. That was way too much. I just blurred out. Dirty. But you can see it fits my skin pretty closely. So I get it on the brush. And I just kind of do that. And do this. See, you can see it now. But once I blend it out, you're not going to see it anymore. See how it's already disappearing? It's because this is literally my exact shade. I've literally had people ask me, like, is it really necessary to have all this stuff? I was like, oh, I don't know if it's necessary, but it does make your life easier. I feel like my lip is still a little, it is still a little tiny bit lopsided. Okay, cool. Once you've got it like cleaned up, then you can sit there and like see where I kind of went onto the actual lip. I can go back in with a lip liner and literally just clean that back up. Okay, so when you start to look like you have what we call in the world DSLs, then you can go with your lipstick. So I am going to use Born With It by Maybelline. This goes very nicely with the lip liner. And then I just kind of mix them together, and then that's my lip. And you can see I've already got my beauty marks on. So at this point, you are finito. You are done. You're finished. Like, we've made it through this together. There is one last thing that you have to do, and that is literally spray this down, put on a cute little outfit, throw on a wig, and call it a day. Because let me tell you, drag is not complete unless you're wearing a wig. Because without that wig, I look like a lipstick lesbian, and that is not the look I'm going for today. So I'm going to switch into an outfit, and I'll be right back. Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty much the finished look. All we're doing now is we're going to find some nice earrings to go on. And yeah, that's it. This is Wisteria. I decided to try to use adhesive tape instead of wig glue, and let me tell you, I would rather use the wig glue. Never in my life have I ever had such a hard time getting, like, see, it's not even full-blown staying down. But then again, with my oily skin, wig glue doesn't even hold. So, I don't know what I'm expecting. I think what I have to do is I have to go in and design, like, a wig glue that even works for, like, the oiliest of people. Anyway, that's that. This, you're not going to stay down, or you're not going to stay up, are you? Ugh. That was a makeup brush. This is the final look. I have become Wisteria Ivy. Normally I can have my lace down better than this, but like I said, I was trying to use wig tape because someone had told me it's so much easier, and never in my life have I felt so lied to and so betrayed and so sabotaged. But anyway, this is the final look. I feel gorgeous. I feel beautiful. I feel like I'm going to go find an old man who's going to die shortly after I marry him and leave me everything. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for dealing with my insanity. And I will see you next time. Be safe, my darling little subs.